Sure. Bob Puskis?
Here.
Okay, Arnie Schmidt?
I am here.
Great. Bill Connell?
I'm here.
Bob LaCourte? I see his name on here, I just don't, I think he's
LaCourte.
muted.
Physically here, but not mentally here.
Hi. Chris Williams?
Here.
Melba Batten? I hear her and I spoke to her before. Hold on, Mayor Kramer? I see
Here.
him. Mike Smith?
Present.
Bob Warnlocker?
Here.
You didn't answer when
Okay.
she called you.
And I'm here, Dina.
Maybe I was on mute.
Oh,
Okay.
I know Dina's not coming tonight. She let me know that for sure. Oh gosh, okay. And John Hurling's calling me right now. It's okay, thank you, sweetie.
Oh, Tara
Okay.
LaCourte, I'm here.
I saw you, thank you.
No, I was told you didn't hear me. Okay.
You're there. Hi, how's it going? Okay, so that's what we have so far.
All right, very good. Motion to open meeting to the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, you need to know open the public. Tara, do we have anybody that's on?
Yes, we do. We
Okay.
have, okay, hang on. This is a call-in user, so I just have to see who it is. Hang on one second. Hi, I see there's a call-in attendee, 732-799. Are you there?
That's me. That's Dave Triggs.
Oh, Dave Triggs. Oh, okay. How are
Yes.
you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I couldn't. The online
Hold a minute.
logon for me says it doesn't recognize my email address. I tried my email and my BEP email, and it
It was
doesn't accept
everyone,
either.
Dave.
So
We took, Dave, we
It
took
was
a
everyone.
vote. We took
Tara,
a
just
vote.
promote
Dave.
him up.
That's it.
Yeah, we were having
right.
problems. Sorry, Dave. You're good.
all right.
All right. The next person on is Chuck Martin. Hang on, let me unmute him. Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Tara. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello, everyone. Actually, I would like to know if there are items on the agenda dealing with the maintenance and upkeep of the trails and grasslands. But also, I need to tell you that John Herling just called me looking for your telephone number, Tara, because he cannot get on to the meeting.
I'm texting him right now.
So, could we get copies of the agenda before the meeting so we can see what's being discussed?
It was on the website, so, but yeah, you can always, if you need it directly, you can just email me, Chuck. I can give it to you for
No,
sure.
I've been on the website. It's not there. In fact, I'm getting a call from John again. Hello, John. Yes.
All right, shall I mute him for a minute? Or?
Okay, John, I'm actually, they have me unmuted. And I was just telling them that you're trying to get on for the meeting. John informs me that he tried to call you and wasn't getting an answer on your cell phone.
Yeah, I just texted him, so.
Okay, John. She texted you, yes. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Take care. So,
I'll go ahead.
are there items on the agenda dealing with trails? We had a number of things that weren't discussed, or we're not able to discuss in the last trails meeting. And, are there other items, for example, dealing with the maintenance of open space properties such as the grasslands and our forests and streams?
On the agenda right now, the only thing we have talking about is just starting to talk about the potentially prescribed burn for the future. But that's it and I was just going to update everyone on the Firefly walk. That's it related to trails right this meeting.
Very good. Thank you. Yes, I would just like to be included in the discussion of continuing discussion about maintenance on the grasslands, particularly with respect to burns and other procedures that we might try. I just feel like we have some serious problems, and I would like to contribute my thoughts on the matter. So I will just simply listen and thank you for your letting me speak.
Okay, hang on. All right. All right. We have, hold on, Bill Bowman. Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Any questions or?
Other than I would second the fact that there was no agenda on the page on the township website advertising this meeting, even though there was a notice saying that residents had a certain number of hours or questions had to be submitted by a certain date on any items on the agenda. It's pretty tough to submit questions on something that you can't see. So I would ask that extra care be taken in getting that agenda listed on the page where where you have your link for the public to get on to be able to see this meeting. And Tara, your audio was bad in the very beginning, but now it's a lot better. So thank you.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
Why do people have a certain deadline to get a question in?
They have a question, but when you ask why do they have a deadline to submit questions, because there's a deadline for meetings. So the agenda has to be prepared. So if there's something about the agenda, we generally don't accept questions. You can log into the meeting and ask a question during the public portion. So there's always a deadline for meetings.
Yeah, but you can ask any question you want during the meeting.
Well, that's not what he said. He's talking about submitting questions prior to the meeting.
Okay.
And the agenda should have been posted, Mayor. We all know that. It wasn't. Clearly, there was an issue with this entire posting. None of us could get into the meeting, and the agenda wasn't posted. I don't think that it was anything that was done we all couldn't even log into our own meeting. There was clearly some technical problem with this posting.
Right, there's definitely something wrong. Yeah, because it should have been posted. But yeah, there's some kind of issue for sure.
I'm calling Ted to see why he's not on.
Might want to mute.
Is there a timetable for a regular meeting in person that's not actually online? This is Dave Triggs asking the question.
I think that probably is not an appropriate question right now, Dave. I think that was discussed at the last council meeting at length, and the mayor might want to do it after at some point during this meeting. But that goes for, this is not the only committee that the township has, including the township council. And it was discussed at length by the township attorney at the last council meeting last Thursday. I'll fill you in.
All right. Okay, the next person we have on is Mark Renfrey. Hi, Mark. Mark Renfrey, are you there? Oh, he wrote nothing from him. Okay, thank you. And then lastly, we have Robin Scudder.
Can you hear me?
Robin Scudder, yep, hi.
Yeah. Hi, I'm also interested in hearing first about the grasslands management protocol and maybe saying some of my comments about my observations. I don't know if this is the time to do that, but I'm happy to wait for the report first.
Tara, can I have her address, please?
40.
Yep. Go ahead.
43 Livingston Avenue in East Millstone.
Thank you.
Everybody's got to understand about the maintenance. Not much was done last year because of the COVID. Stuff is going to be done. We are going to mow it this year for sure.
Don't we have an agenda to follow? Please.
Yeah, let's move on here. Any more public here, Tara?
That's all for the public.
All right, motion to close the meeting to the public.
I make a motion to close the meeting to the public.
You have
Second.
a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on, old business. Tara, would you lead us in that, please?
Sure. So the first item for old business is the green infrastructure feasibility study. I spoke with Rutgers at the beginning of the end of last week, and again today. I was hoping to have the last document today. They are still working on it. They're almost done. They're just doing like some editing. So they promised me I'll have it by the end of the week. So at the next meeting, I should be able to present that last piece of the document to you.
All right, very good. What do you have next, Tara?
Next, we have the National Trails Day. Just an update that the Trails Advisory Committee held National Trails Day on June 5th, Saturday, June 5th at Bunker Hill. It was really well attended. There was over 20 people there. We partnered with Recreation, so thanks to Bo and his entire staff. They did like a really great program with Franklin Rocks. The kids were able to be involved, and it just turned out to be a really nice event. So just wanted to thank Recreation, and the committee continues to try and partner with them on things because it just makes it, you know, better for everyone. So worked out really good, and yeah, we were happy with the outcome.
No, great. All right. Next up, Tara.
Next up, we have is new business, and that is the first portion is the possibility for prescribed burn. So this is talking about the grasslands management. So I'll just kind of go over what the thoughts are for right now. So for the grasslands this year, we are on the schedule. We have been on the schedule for quite some time with DPW to have the grasslands mowed. Chris, Bob Puskas, and I will be going out soon to stake out the areas where we're going to mow. And then this way DPW knows exactly where to mow, and we can talk about that right there on the site. Carl has agreed to come as well from DPW. That's one thing. So we did do the prescribed burn at John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands. The first one was done in January of 2020, and then the second burn was done because there were some fire resistant plants there, and also just we kind of ran out of time during the first burn. So to complete that, we did another burn on Easter. And so far for this year, the burn, or this season I should say, the burning at John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve is done. But right now it's time to start putting in our applications for future prescribed burns. So the recommendation from the the New Jersey State Fire Safety Service is to do the burn in the same location that we did at John Clyde, which was over 80 acres. And it's most of the fields there at the grasslands. And it did work. However, because the amount of native invasive species that were there at the time, we need to really do 2 to 3 burns to really see the full results of that. So that's what the goal is.
Tara, sorry to interrupt. Can you promote TED?
Oh, sure. Yes, absolutely.
Now I have a problem. Now it's saying download the Cisco WebEx add-on.
Don't do that.
That's my other problem.
Don't do that.
I can hear. Oh, you're on the phone. I don't see him here in the attendees.
Okay, let me work on it.
Okay. So yeah, so the thought is that we do the same burn at that preserve 2 to 3 times. And not only does that kind of deal with the fire resistant plants, but it also will help to diminish the seed load, which is the seeds that are stored of those invasive species that even after you burn them or cut them, they kind of come back. So that's the plan for that, or that's the recommendation for that. The other area that a burn was recommended by New Jersey Autobahn in our grasslands management plan, which was just updated in 2019, is there's 2 areas of Negri that are eligible for prescribed burn based on their distance to, you know, other structures and power lines and things like that. So we didn't do a burn there last year at Negri because we kind of wanted to just see how the process went. But the process went well. It was very easy to work with. It is a free service to municipalities who go through the program appropriately, which we do with our application process. So I think a good recommendation would be to also apply for a burn at Negri Napodi as well. And I can show you the area that we would be looking at. Let me just share my screen here so I can show you that area. Hold on, okay, share, and it's this one. That's the area at Griggstown, at John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve, just so you know. So these are the fields that we burned last year, and we would burn these again. This image came from the Grasslands Management Plan that we had updated by New Jersey Audubon a while back. And then this is the field ID for Negri. So it would be Field B and Field E are the ones that were proposed for burning. So I have the applications prepared, not, just as a draft at this point. I kind of wanted to get thoughts from the Open Space Committee and see if this is something that we're interested in doing again at one or both sites, as a means for managing, the grasslands. And then the follow-up to those burns are that once the burning is done, we can then go in after nesting season and spot treat the invasive species that are left, and that would be done by DPW. So that's it for me. So I kind of wanted to get everyone's thoughts.
I would like to make a motion that we apply for prescribe both burning in both locations, in Negri and Griggstown.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on a motion?
So what is,
Go ahead.
what is the, how long does this last? Or does it matter how much we maintain it after this?
So the way that it works, so if you go to John Clyde right now, you would see that there is definitely the grasses are growing back, and after you do the burn, not only do the invasive species get burned, but the native grasses will start growing back, and they're supposed to grow back, quicker and more lush. The invasive, from what I've been explained, the burn takes 2 to 3 times for it to really take care of those invasive species that we want to be rid of. So the burning season we're looking at would really begin in the winter. So we're looking at this upcoming winter and the next upcoming winter as the burning treatments. But then DPW will go in after nesting season, which is August 1st, and do mowing and spot treating August 1st. And if we had to do it again one more time, we can schedule that.
And the same would
Do we
eventually
pay
apply
for
for
these burns?
Negri.
Yes, the same. If we were to, look into doing Negri, we can ask that the fire service do it at the same time, in the same season. So we would be able to do both of those at the same time.
And just to ask the other question, if you didn't do a burn, what would that timeline look like if you did an alternative method? Or does this actually really expedite things?
So, my experience working with the fire service, they worked very quickly, and they did, they were there within the season and they got everything done. The application process, especially now that we've been through it once, should be very simple. Because we have the mapping done. They've been there on site. I thought they were very efficient, easy to communicate with, very effective. The other ways to manage the grasslands are to do mowing, which, can be difficult because we have the nesting time, which prohibits us from mowing during that time. And we did a while back, before we did the grasslands management plan, we were looking at different types of, treatments, whether it be like organic treatments or chemical treatments. And that's why we decided to go ahead and have the grasslands management plan done by Audubon so they could really give us their recommendations. And that's what we've been following. And their recommendations have been do the burn and then have the nesting season and then do the spot treatment and the mowing. So, yeah.
Can I add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Bill, by burning, you're also burning the seeds of that were produced that year, therefore knocking down invasive species. Burning is a better thing to do than mowing where possible. But, and I've noticed that a lot of the cedar trees that were at John Clyde were scorched and aren't coming back. They were knocked down. So it was a good deal.
The other question is, does anybody complain about it at John Clyde? Like, is it?
No, and I went there that day. Chuck Martin from Trails went also. Bob was there, just in case, someone complained because we were worried about it. But actually, we had no complaints. We did have a few people actually even come out just to kind of ask questions, but no complaints. I think people really did understand. And I will say the fire service, they do a lot of signage, so they make it very clear what's going on. And we also put a web page up on our website that completely described what it is, why we're doing it. We put the map there, so I think we had enough lead time to give enough notice.
Okay, all right.
Any more?
Now, what about like box turtles, things like that? I mean, if you're going to do a burn, I would imagine like things like box turtles and snakes and stuff like that can't really have the opportunity to escape that.
So when we were there, I don't know about snakes, but I do know about mice, only because I saw a bunch of them run out, and they run very quickly when they have to, because I witnessed it. It's actually really interesting because you see the mice run out and then you see a bunch of birds come. It's like watching the circle of life basically happen at one time. But you're right. I think that they the animals we're burning one field, then moving to the next field. So it's like, hopefully they kind of have a chance to move about.
And it's a slow burn. It doesn't like whip right across the field. It's a slow process. So, I mean, I think the wildlife does have plenty of time to get out of the way.
Yeah, snakes can move pretty quickly. And
What about
winter, the snakes are hibernating.
so is the turtles hibernating.
Right,
That's
that's true.
Actually, if you do it in the winter, you're right.
All right, if there's no more discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Can I just say one thing? I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt.
Go ahead.
But I know that I think 2 people had mentioned in the public that they had questions about this. I don't know I just want to make that out, put that out there.
Well, the protocol probably would be having to make comments back at the public session at the end of the meeting.
Okay,
Right.
that's fine. Yep.
Well, but they called in specifically about this. I mean, I'm not a voting member here, but I certainly would like to hear what they say.
Well,
If this is the topic, can we move the agenda and just make the comment section now?
Make the motion, Bill.
We have a motion on the floor.
I make a motion to open to the public for the
No,
second time.
We have a motion on the floor about the burn. We have to take care of that first.
Okay.
So the motion is to go ahead with the prescribed burn at John Clyde and to add in negative podium floor, if I understand if that's the motion is correct.
Yes, that is the motion.
All in favor of that?
Well, if we're still in the discussion stage, maybe the people in the public want to add something to the discussion that might have some sway in how people vote yes or no to this motion.
I don't think that's protocol.
That is not protocol.
You can move.
We can table the motion for now, can't we?
Exactly. You move to table. Move to table until after public comment.
I'll move the table until after public comment.
And it was Williams who made the motion, so.
Okay, I make a motion, we table till after public comment.
I will second that.
Motion table till after second public comment.
Okay.
Go, Bill.
All right. What do you mean go?
Make your motion.
He
I
did.
make a motion to open the public.
I'll second that.
Didn't, yeah. Robert is rolling over in his grave, but fine.
No, I'm not.
No, I think you mean Robert's rules.
I know what he meant already. Come on.
All right, are we open to public comment now?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
We actually are not. We We had a motion and a second, correct?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I oppose.
Okay,
One nay.
all right, so, we have Chuck Martin on public. Chuck, are you there?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thanks for letting me listen in on this. I agree completely with your motion to continue burns. I think there's this is actually, though, a very complicated issue, and maintenance of the grasslands is in fact a very complicated issue. And I'm speaking about this from my own experience. My wife and I have actually had some initial training in prescribed burns that goes back to 1967, when we were graduate students and taking ecology courses in fire environments.
Were they burning?
And we followed this technology for quite some time, and we actually write about it in our textbooks as part of our teaching in biology. But it's, first of all, I believe that it's very important that you do burning and you have continued burning in these areas. We do know that prior to the colonists coming in New Jersey, there were in fact native grasslands of the type that open space was trying to reestablish with the original Audubon plan. We know that these grasslands were actually maintained primarily by two ways. Otherwise, you would actually have to get succession into a eventual hardwood forest. Not within anyone's particular lifetime, but that's the way it would go. The ways that these grasslands were maintained were by periodic burning and by grazing, for the most part. And in fact, even the Great Plains, the grasslands of the Great Plains, the native grasslands that are there, are in fact maintained by periodic burning. Those are mainly lightning, initiated by lightning fires. But in the case of our own environment, apparently these native grasslands were actually maintained in large part by burning by Native Americans. And we have strong historic evidence to that effect. But burning does work, but it's not clear whether burning alone by itself is going to remove these invasive species that are coming into our grasslands. And we just don't know at this point. But so it's quite possible that we will need to employ other methods as well, if in fact what open space wants to do is maintain Negri and Greigstown as a native grassland. Right now, you don't have a native grassland. What you have is a successional environment where lots of invasive hardwoods have come in, including autumn olive and Bradford pear. Some of those are affected by burns, but it's not clear that burning alone will in fact remove those. You may actually have to go in and remove those by hand, in addition to mowing before you start burning, so you can get a hot, low burn in order to have the effects that you want. But it really is a complex issue. You really need to think very carefully and develop methods, develop a methodical plan for maintaining these areas. It will probably include burning, probably include mowing, repetitive mowing at a much more frequent interval than you would normally have. And you may in fact have to try to control in certain invasives by either pulling or by actually herbicide treatment. So that's my concerns, and I I have the feeling that you're going to pass this motion to continue the burning. I think that is a great idea. I think it's a great start. But honestly, trying to maintain and at this point restore Negri and Griggstown to a native grassland environment is going to be a complicated procedure, and it's going to take probably multiple methods in order to do it. Thank you.
I've got a comment, the way Chuck's still on. It was part of Audubon's we asked Audubon to look at these properties and thinking about it and looking at the properties myself, especially Negri and Napodi. I think we need to seriously think about starting over on small parcels, do a few acres a year or a chunk of ground a year and basically start over, figure out how we can start over and plant. I know Audubon's recommendation is plant orchard grass this time around and try some orchard grass. So it's something that the committee should think about doing, that maybe we should come up with a plan and maybe try to reestablish some of these areas that have gotten away from us.
We can discuss this in our committee.
Yes, I understand, but while Chuck was on, I just wanted to throw that out while he was still, part of the public comment period.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. I agree completely.
Okay, all right. I am gonna go then to Robin Scudder. Hang on one second. Robin, let me unmute you. Hi,
Okay.
Robin.
Hi, thanks for the time. I was glad to hear the specialist Chuck. I didn't get his last name. I am glad he brought all the points that he did forward. I was able to have a copy of the Audubon plan sent to me, and I was under the impression that this was something that your committee had already committed to undertake and adhere to. And I can see clearly that it's to reclaim these fields. It's an 8-step plan that involves, cycles of burning and mowing and brush hog, which I'd love for you to tell me when I'm done the last time it was even brush hog, with light disc to break up roots and stress vegetation, specifically naming the types of herbicides to kill the resilient vegetation, and a planting cycle. So that's all, you have this. You've had this for 2 years. I would very strongly endorse, as a citizen and a bird watcher and a lover of the Griggstown grasslands. I love Napodi too, but I have a special spot for Griggstown. And my walks over the time as we came out of COVID, frequent walks, really made me realize that the olives are 8 to 12 feet tall. The pears are 10 plus feet tall in places. There's sumac. There's tons of maples growing there that are growing really quickly. I think there may even be an ash tree in there. The fields are filled with mugwort. I mean, that is on your plan. The major invasive that's strangling whatever grass you're talking about. You can't even see the grass for the majority of these areas, at least in Griggstown. It's all mugwort, mugwort, mugwort. It's scary. It's very sad to me. In addition to poison ivy, blackberries, roses, Virginia creeper. I mean, the place is very sadly neglected. I didn't even see any bluebirds today. I saw one barn swallow. Years ago, there were reports of bobolinks returning. I suggest that everybody or anybody on the committee take a trip to some of the Mercer County parks, in particular the Pole Farm and Reed Bryant. If you want to see grasslands and what you really could create, I suggest you do that. And I've always welcomed and looked so forward to seeing beautiful grasslands right around the corner from me, where I could go and maybe catch a bobolink singing. So I really hope that you recommit to plan and look at it and follow it. I understand that finances are not an issue for open space. So I really strongly wish that you would recommit to the plan for the grasslands, both at Clyde, Griggstown, and Negri Napodi. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Renfrey says he does not have any comments. I don't see anyone else saying they have any comments. So that would be it for public comment.
All right, motion to close.
I make
I'll
a motion to
to
close. I'll
Second.
second that motion.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. All right, Tara, you're back up on new business. What do you got next?
Okay. All right. So do you want to go back to the motion to approve the sending of the application for the prescribed burns?
Yes, I guess we should now. Absolutely.
You move to take it off the table.
I move to take it off the table.
Okay.
We have a second for that? Or do we need a second?
I'll second it.
All
John
right.
Hurley. Yep.
All right, motion now off the table. The motion is to apply for prescribed burns at Rickstown and Negri Napodi.
Yep.
Any more discussion, folks? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, so I will, I've drafted the applications and I'll get them to Bob for his review and signature, and then I'll let you all know once we have it, signed and in. Keep you posted. Okay?
Sounds good.
Thank you,
All
Sarah.
right. The next thing we have on is the Firefly Walk at John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands. So at the last Trails Advisory Committee, they had discussed having another Firefly Walk on July 10th at the John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve. They did this once in the past and it was very well attended and a really nice night. So it's just really a way that the public can go and see the fireflies, take a nice nature walk. Bo said that he and Recreation would partner with us, so I'll be speaking with him. And I know Chuck has reached out to him to kind of discuss how we can work on that together. So just wanted to let everyone know that, and I'll let the police know, of course, if it's okay, if we can do that there since it's after hours. And I think that's it. I don't know if I need a motion for that. It's just basically using the area after hours.
I don't think you do.
No, I think you're good. Just I'd arrange it and do it.
Okay, so I'll contact the police, and I let Bob Warnlocker know earlier, so I'll just, make sure everyone's aware of what's going on before we do it.
Yeah, very good, Karen.
Okay. Next on the agenda then is the hunting program. So the Wildlife Management Committee met last night to discuss, every year we meet to discuss the upcoming hunting program, any changes that we potentially need made, or any recommendations or suggestions. So really everything, the recommendations were everything to basically stay the same. There are a few minor things. So when I say stay the same, I actually just got the dates. The state just released the dates today around 4:30 for the upcoming hunting season. So it's going to begin September 11th and it ends on February 19th, 2022. So the first hunting season is for bow hunting only. That's going to be September 11th to October 29th. The second bow hunting season is October 30th to December 31st, excluding Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. Then the 6-day firearm season is from December 5th to December 11th. And then the firearm season is January 1st, 2022 to February 19th, 2022. The committee discussed and agreed again to close the Grasslands Preserve and one additional property that is being proposed for entry only because it's firearm. So any property that allows firearm would be basically closed for the firearm season, the Grasslands, and this upcoming property that I'll tell you about in 1 minute. And again, it really is just it's for safety, for the public. It's, not confusing because we're not splitting the times up of when members of the public can be there versus hunters, and it allows us to do the deer management that we really need to have done. Franklin Township has a very excessive population of deer. So that was the proposal for that, which we've done for the last 3 years. We went over the signage, which we will of course put signage up. DPW is able to make some of our signage now, which is great. And then the main change, or the main proposed addition, is for the property formerly known as the Farm Credit East property. Right now, we're calling it Route 518 property, only because I don't think we have like a better name for it at this point, but I'll show you the map. This property here we just acquired this right after the last hunting season. We were hoping to get this in the last hunting season, but we closed it, just afterwards. So now we own this property. It's mostly wooded. The entrance is this long, kind of skinny driveway area off of 518. And the red area you see here is the measured out area that would be allowable for firearm hunting, and the rest of it would be bow only. So this would be a new property. It's a total of about 124 acres that we can add. The committee said that it would probably be appropriate for about 10 hunting permits to be in there. And so that is what we are proposing to add into the inventory this year. And it would be a separate property, so it's not part of, like 10 Mile Run or anything like that. Separate property, 10 hunters, firearm and bow. It's completely wooded. There are a lot of deer out there, so it would be a good addition, we think. And the resolution I've drafted for the council to basically approve the hunting program would be on for the July 12th meeting. So that's the proposal. Just kind of wanted to get any ideas, feedback, before we go ahead with it.
In the past, maybe I'm wrong on this. I know the the 6-day firearm season is that weekend, just beginning of December. Correct me, I might be wrong on this. I thought we closed both grassland down beginning of that season right till February. In other words,
right.
from December the 5th on till February 15th, they'll be closed except for Sundays, because there's no Sunday hunting that the public can walk on Sundays in both of those places. Correct?
Right. That is, yes, correct. Thank you for bringing that up. So we did talk about that last night at the Wildlife Management Committee. And I think I could be wrong. I know we talked a little bit about potentially closing it for the 6-day firearm and the firearm season, but not closing it for the in-between time, which I don't think would be that difficult, but that is definitely an option, is to just keep it closed from the 6-day firearm, which would be December 5th through February 19th. That's option one. Option two is we close those properties for firearm from December 5th to December 11th, and then we close it from January 1st to February 19th.
The only downside to closing it from the rest of the 2 weeks in December is there's a lot of between muzzleloader and doe days in the antler seasons in those 2 weeks, and the holidays the guys will hunt because of Christmas vacations and different things. And our goal is to take the antlers deer off. So my suggestion would be to close it December the 5th right to February, right through, like we've done that in the past. We never split the December season.
We did that last year, didn't we, Bob?
No, we didn't split it last year. We closed it from the first day of the 6-day firearm right to February.
That's what I thought we did last year.
Yeah,
that's what we did.
Just so we don't have, so the public doesn't have any confusion.
So what firearms hunting is there between December 12th and January 1st?
Muzzleloader, black powder, and antlers deer, shotgun antlers deer.
Do we have any hunters who hunt with muzzle loaders?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one of the boxes you check on the application. We do have you'd be surprised how many fellows black powder, what we call black powder hunt. It's pretty popular.
Yeah, I mean, whatever everyone thinks is best is fine. I mean, I can put one line on the signage that basically says we're closed for this period and this period, or I can just leave it as we're closed from December 5th, just those properties, which will still be open on Sundays to members of the public. Or we can do, you know, the split, whatever works for that. But yes, we did close it last year completely from the beginning of 6-day firearm through the end of the regular firearm.
Tara, did we have a lot of complaints last year about closing it?
No, not a lot of complaints, but we did hear some, you know, comments and feedback, that, you know, of course, there are always going to be some complaints, but, you know, there are some requests that the grasslands be open and not closed at all where possible. So, you know.
Well, I think for public safety, we should follow Bob's recommendation.
Yeah.
And just close it from December until February 19th.
Right.
I make a motion that we recommend that.
You have a second?
I'll second that.
Do you have any discussion on the motion?
Every year, I argue on behalf of the Griggstown residents who are not members, who want to walk there and are opposed to the closing. And every year I get outvoted. I'm not going to stop arguing over this. I think that if you at least left the fields, well, down to the bottom of the depression, in other words, fields A, B, E, and HIJ, left those open for people to walk on in that period when you have only the muzzle loaders and
The only problem with that is people don't stay in those fields. They wander all over the place.
The biggest complaint we've gotten in the past has been from the cross-country skiers who like to go out there. John Luce being one of them.
Yeah.
I tell John I got a lot of spots for him to go cross-country skiing. He's too old to do it anyway.
Well, that's what we used to tell him, is there's other places to go, but
Yeah, I understand. I think it just, you know, my personal opinion, and the committee there's a motion there and we're discussing it, is that it's cleaner to do it, you know, the whole property. And like the suggestion, people don't stay where they're supposed to stay. That is pretty evident.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any more discussion on a motion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
nay.
Ted says nay. Any others?
I don't have.
Nay.
Ted doesn't have a vote.
Oh.
All right, motion.
Okay, so that's to close the properties. The other thing is so just for your knowledge, so then the resolution to approve the program will include adding that Farm Credit East property that I showed you, the Route 518 property, and the dates, which are established by the state anyway. We just follow the state's regulation when it comes to the rules for hunting and the dates for hunting.
Yes.
Could we look again? I don't know if I'm on or not, but
you are. I hear you, Melba.
This is Melba Batten. Could we look at other places besides the two grasslands that we only have two of those and people depend on walking there? Can we see how much other space we have and just be firm when people disobey?
So those spots are the spots that we are able to do firearm hunting because of the distance requirements that you have to be from an occupied structure or road or anything like that. So those are the ones, and those are the areas also where we have the deer, a lot of deer problems.
Aren't there others? I believe there might be some others.
I don't think so. No, unfortunately not. Most of the other ones meet the requirements for bow hunting, but not firearm.
Well, we're adding the Farm Credit East property And
Right.
no one will walk there because there are no trails.
Most people walk in Colonial Park when it snows. They don't, they don't walk on the open space. They don't walk on the open space in January because it's too cold.
All right, all right.
They
also have
do
the,
walk on the open space.
well,
Please.
they also have the
Tell
canal.
me, Chris, do you go birding or is it too cold?
I don't go to Negri. I go along the ocean when in January.
All right. Let's, I guess we'll move on here. Tara, we have anything else on new business?
I don't think so, unless anyone has anything else. I don't think so. I'm so, hang on 1 second, love, okay? There's one item to be added. Chris Williams had asked that we talk about drones. Chris, did you want to talk about that since you had brought it up? Oh, you're muted, Chris.
I was at Negri yesterday and two gentlemen showed up with drones. And I followed Bob's instructions. I called the police station, to have a patrol car come out. And they told me that they're allowed to fly drones there.
There's no ordinance prohibiting it. There was never any ordinance adopted, Chris.
Okay, then maybe we should adopt it because the drones look like predators and scare the birds that are nesting there. And they are threatened. They're not endangered. Some of them are endangered. But we should not have drones flying over Negri if we can avoid it. At least not from the parking lot. I know we can't stop them from flying, but we can stop them from flying from the parking lot.
Yeah, we had this lengthy discussion back in, I think, 19 about this. We spent a couple of meetings on it. I thought a resolution was, Chris, you're right, you can't stop them from flying over it, but I thought we had something that said that we wouldn't allow them to fly, launch from our properties.
That's what I thought the town council was going to pass, but I guess I'll have to.
I thought so too.
I guess we'll have to attend a town council meeting and bring that up. Or we make a recommendation to town council that they, have like Grigstown parking lot and Negri parking lot. No drones can be launched from those areas.
That's part of our job as a committee is to make recommendations to the council. So yes, this committee can if they want to.
So wait a second. So Bob Vornlocker, a couple years ago, we brought this up and you were saying that because you're waiting for your lawyer or the lawyer, okay? And then also there was some conversations with the League of Mayors or League of Municipalities or whatever it was. And at the time you were saying that there was some loose language being formed to see what we could do. And I don't remember.
And in the meantime, the FAA relaxed the restrictions at the federal level and changed it and made it more lax as far as the use of drones for personal use. So that's what was done. Federal government chose to relax the restrictions and allow for drones to be flown over areas where people are assembled, which was previously prohibited. So that's the direction that the FAA, which regulates drones, not the state government, but the federal government, that's the direction that they've taken.
We're not allowed to be more restrictive at the local level.
Less restrictive and they are regulated by the federal government, by the Federal Aviation Administration, and the FAA has taken a relaxed approach to drones for personal use.
I'm sorry, if I said less restrictive, I meant more restrictive.
But we couldn't make the council could not, Bob, see if I get my tongue back in my tetras straightened out here. Could we restrict launching from our properties? We can't restrict them from flying over them, but could we restrict from launching from our properties?
So you can make the recommendation at council. There's two council members that are sitting on this committee right now and in this meeting. You can certainly make the recommendation at council that you want that done, and then council can make a decision as to whether or not they want to proceed.
Okay, then I will make a recommendation that we limit drones from being launched from the open space properties Negri and Greekstown.
Make a recommendation to the council that they
Yes,
do it.
right.
Well, can I add something? I mean, I can see people doing it for recreation purposes, preventing that. But what about, I mean, drones are very useful to survey. So what if you wanted to, like the Audubon Society or somebody wanted to fly a drone to survey the property or, so why don't we just say private citizens?
Well,
I'm just amending the motion if possible to.
So
You're
we
trying to prevent us, you're trying to,
from the open space coordinator.
What was that, Ted?
Well, we could say that they're forbidden unless they have permission from, for instance,
Yes, that would be better.
coordinator.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
in other words, you'd have to get a permit to fly.
Right, right.
You would have to be able to
Yes.
specify why you're allowing permits and not allowing permits. You couldn't just say, yeah, I'll let the Audubon do it, but not a private citizen. We'd have to have specifications. But we're doing all this because one person saw two people with the drone.
No, it's because the drones appear as a predator towards the nesting birds.
But how often is this happening?
I don't know. I saw it when I was there. I saw it.
Mayor,
And
it's happening.
it's only from April until August is the only time they can't fly because of nesting birds. And they are threatened species. And the reason I said this is because I saw in the paper that a drone crashed into a colony of birds, and a colony of birds abandoned their nests. They abandoned the eggs, the chicks, and everything else, and just flew off and left everything to die.
And Mr. Mayor, it's happening more than you think. Some of the joining neighbors have questioned whether people can, they flying drones there quite a bit. I wouldn't say every day, but it's probably happened a few times a month. All right, now, Chris, is the committee all right with Chris's recommendation to council?
Chris, can
I
you?
just wrote down a first.
You need it repeated. I'd like to hear it.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'll modify my recommendation. I recommend that we don't allow drone flying from April until the end of August at our grassland open spaces.
So please stop. So you cannot regulate airspace. That is a federal regulation, and you cannot regulate airspace. What you can regulate is where they are, where the person who's operating the drone is.
Right.
So if you're going to say that you're going to regulate drone usage, then an individual cannot operate a drone from those township open space properties.
Yes.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
No, that's not what he said. He said operating drones over the open space properties. You can't regulate that.
No,
That's different.
You're right.
Yes, you're right.
In
Just trying to
other
help
words,
you, Chris.
Bob can fly one over from his farm.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
And then the exception would be, I would say, if for a government purpose, as
That's it.
as allowed by the open space coordinator.
Well, it actually would be the township manager or his designee, as it would be in concert with all of the other ordinances that we have. But yeah, and that's not just me saying I want to make the decision, but that would be, but the councilman is exactly correct in that government purpose.
Right.
Okay.
Because that's
So what about if
purpose.
the farmland that we rent out, that's our open space?
Well, they said that he's specifying which open space properties. Not
Oh.
all of the open space properties, but Negri, Napodi, and John Clyde.
Okay.
Parking lot, those
That's
parking lots.
where you have
can't
the
launch from
threatened
from
species.
those parks. You can't launch from those parks.
If you cannot operate a drone while in any of those, in either of those two properties. Within the confines of those properties. That is what you're trying to get accomplished, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Can we close this motion and just leave it to land use to work out the details?
Well, we're still gonna make a
Well, the
recommendation.
recommendation is coming from this committee, so this committee should be clear about what they're recommending.
So I have down that it's no launching of drones from the grasslands, the two grasslands in particular. Operating, no operating,
Word Bob uses.
no,
Broader word.
no drone operating from the grasslands are, and I have written down from April to August. We're keeping that in from April to August.
Yeah.
Yeah, why
Okay.
not?
With the exception for government purposes approved by the township manager or his designee. That's the motion that I have written.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does
I
that make
agree with that.
sense?
Yes.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
I only
Well,
have
government,
one-
when you say government purposes, I thought it was brought up about bird surveys or something like that.
That would be a government purpose because we would be engaging whatever organization it was to do that over our property, correct?
Correct.
That's a government purpose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Vornlocker, would this prohibit the police to use a drone for
No.
search or fire to,
No,
okay,
that's a government purpose.
right, but are they gonna need your permission to do it?
Got township manager or his designee.
Okay,
I could make my designee the every police officer in the police department, right? It's just,
okay, that's fine.
yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Is
I
that
have
what-
just down Chris Williams as the first. I don't think a second was made.
Do we have
I'll
a second?
second it.
I'll second.
Okay,
Any further
Got it.
discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Very good.
Opposed?
who
LaCourte,
said, oh, LaCourte, okay, opposed.
Court,
Okay.
no.
One.
Got it.
All right. If there's no other new business, any questions on the consultants report? Hearing none, do we have any reports from other committees?
None from environmental.
Shade Tree Commission would like to see, well, maybe I'll do it next week, but we'd like to see the, what is it? Oh, my brain is gone. At the end of Amwell, we have the sharp turn, that park there. We would like the open space committee, kind of set up an arboretum for in there so we can start planting trees. That's it, Memorial Forest. So I don't know how we're gonna go about that. But,
What about it?
well, we had a plan at one time. I don't know where it is, but we should probably have a redesign of the plan to take small areas and then move on. Shade Tree Commission, everybody wants Shade Tree Commission to plant trees, but there's not many places the Shade Tree Commission can plant trees. So I'm just trying to set up an area where we could plant trees.
Councilman Chase had some suggestions, didn't you, Councilman Chase?
I don't know whether I had any specific suggestions. I know, I think we did plant some trees at the Bunker Hill open space area. Certainly the Memorial Forest would be a place. Another bit of township open space that is basically brush is off Saddam Road, between Saddam Road and the end of People's Line Road. There's some township space there that has, nothing has ever been made of it.
Middlebush Park could always use more trees, and not all of them survive over the winter. So some do need to be replaced.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you're not talking a lot of trees. Right, Councilman Chase, can you send me a map of that Saddam area that you want trees planted? Because we can surely get some trees and plant them there.
yeah. Well, it's brush. It's not grass. So,
So they'd have to go in and cut it. Public Works would have to go in and cut an area to
yeah,
plant trees.
yeah, I'm not sure.
What about planting trees around the schools?
Yeah, that's a good
I don't see a lot of trees around,
Well, that's
some of
because
the newer schools.
yeah.
Right.
You can even get the students involved.
Yeah.
Reach out to the Board of Ed president.
Yeah, well, okay.
Do we know her?
For instance, from the Claremont School on
Yeah, I
the
know her.
boundary toward
That's exactly.
9 Mile Run, the Franklin Park Brook.
Yep.
So
So you have to find spaces that are not going to be used for athletics.
Right.
Can you have your wife get a hold of me so we can discuss planting trees in schools? And if we plant trees at schools, who's going to maintain them? Who's going to water them?
The Board of Education?
Exactly. Are they going to follow through on that?
That's a discussion between you and the shade tree and the Board of Education.
Okay.
Sick the children on them, they'll do it.
If only we had a
exactly.
Board of Education member present.
I am here. I can bring this back to the board.
Amazing.
Hi, doctor.
All right, let's, why don't Shade Tree and the board get together on that? And Shade Tree, Bob Vornlocker, the Memorial Forest, we got to look at the lease because the property is leased out, but I think we could probably work with the tenant there. If we want to take a small area up near the old woods, maybe it's not farmed, we can maybe, do we work around with that tenant and maybe put some trees back in the corner somewhere? Is that a possibility?
I mean, it certainly is a possibility as far as I'm concerned, sure.
Okay. All right. So Shade Tree should reach out to the tenant there or maybe, maybe take a site visit there and see if they come up with some area they might want to put trees there and,
So I think we have a land management consultant. I think she's on this meeting too, and I believe she has communication with our leaseholders often, so.
right.
Well, we can do that. We can definitely do that.
Well, we need to get the Public Works involved too, because they'll have to water or maintain the trees. Also.
Right.
So we should get them involved. Okay.
I think that you should come up with a plan and then I can coordinate my employees and that'll be fine.
Okay. You're the boss.
All right. Any other committee reports? If not, Tara, do we need to go into executive session?
No, nothing for executive session this time.
I have a question for Bob Vornlocker.
Oh.
What is the criteria for having deer scraped up off the road again?
They contact the police department and the police department contacts the contractor.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right. Any other, if there's no other business brought up before the committee, a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we open
A motion.
the meeting to the public for the second time.
We did that already.
Do that.
Well, third,
Yeah, we already did that twice.
Okay. And I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
There you go.
All right.
Now you're with it.
Okay.
All in favor of adjourning?
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor of joining the meeting, say aye.
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 Thank you, folks, for coming out.